Homelander is terrifying, but he's far from invincible. There is a brutal list of characters who could destroy him. And today, we're ranking all of them, from the hardest fights to the easiest kills, and trust me, the final one will leave you speechless. Starting with an obvious one, Soldier Boy. Vought's first superhero in a walking Cold War era nuke, being among the few of the only characters on record to physically damage Homelander in open combat, able to withstand a direct attack from Homelander that would have smooshed anyone else into a fine paste. Then, able to duke it out fist to fist, his power is equal to, if not greater than, Homelander in terms of raw strength alone. After a pretty awesome fight, Soldier Boy has Homelander dead to rights, nearly going nuclear and finishing the job, which leads us to one of the key factors that would shift the playing field to his favor, his radiation nullifier, an ability acquired through experimentation and early prototypes of Compound V. Not only is the ability a dead focused beam of radiation, it can also depower supes. It destabilizes the Compound V in their bodies, in some cases permanently stripping them of all their powers. If he lands that blast, Homelander goes from apex predator to overconfident man baby. The biggest issue with Soldier Boy is that he is slow, unstable, and struggles with rage blackouts. He's strong, but not smart. He needs the element of surprise or to work in tandem with other strong characters. Still, he's a proven threat, but not nearly as relentless as the next person on our list. None other than William Butcher, leader of the Boys, sworn enemy of all supes, and perhaps the most dangerous man to ever take Compound V. He doesn't just want to kill Homelander, he's obsessed with it. It consumes his every waking moment. Butcher isn't stronger than Homelander, but he doesn't have to be. He's smarter, more ruthless, and doesn't care about collateral damage. If it takes leveling a building to kill Homelander, Butcher's pulling the trigger. We see just how far Butcher is truly willing to go when he himself takes Compound V. He becomes a temporary god. Super strength, near invulnerability, heat vision. In short, he becomes an even darker version of Homelander. Unlike Homelander, however, Butcher is willing to die if it means taking his enemy with him. We see this fully in the episode Herogasm when Butcher teamed up with Soldier Boy and Hughie. When they overpowered Homelander, yes, overpowered, that's the only time in the series where Homelander was visibly panicking, outnumbered, and nearly killed. Butcher even has a full-on beam clash with Homelander, and it's amazing. But there's a cost. Temp V is killing the Butcher, literally. He knows he is dying, but that's what makes him more dangerous. He's not a long-term solution, but in a one-shot battle, cornered, enraged, and dying. Billy Butcher might just be the man who kills a god. He is the man, but next is the boy. And you know what they say, like father, like son. Ryan Butcher, or the very son of Homelander, his biological son. The only known soup-born, not engineered, with godlike powers. But he isn't just the next generation. He might be the end game. Back in season 2, Ryan accidentally killed Stormfront with heat vision, something that took Maeve and Starlight working together just to stall, and he wasn't even aiming. Right now, Ryan wouldn't pose much of a threat, but right now, Ryan is Homelander's greatest blind spot. He sees him not as a threat, but as a legacy. In his own messed up way, Homelander seems to actually love his son. In time, that could be his downfall. Imagine this, a Ryan who trains his powers, who learns control, who knows how to bait his father into emotional overreach. That's not a battle of strength alone, it's a war of inheritance, and Ryan holds the moral knife. But the tragedy is this, Ryan could save the world, or become even worse than his father. Moving on from the one-man threats to a much more nebulous threat. It's Vought himself. They created him, raised him in a lab, marketed him as a messiah, but they've always known the truth. Homelander isn't a hero, he's a liability. Vought International isn't just a company, it's a system, a political machine, and the one force that doesn't fear Homelander's powers. They control the narrative, media, and Compound V pipeline, and until very recently, they controlled Homelander through image management. They don't need to kill Homelander with heat vision, they can kill him with stock drops, scandals, lawsuits, or worst of all, to Homelander, irrelevance. But they don't need to just shoehorn him away. No, they could outright kill him too if they wanted. With countless contingencies and other soups being developed en masse, one that we will talk about specifically later on, Homelander seems himself as untouchable. But Vought knows every god is vulnerable to the people who write the story, and if they ever decide he's too dangerous to manage, they will replace him like any other failed product. Keeping with the theme of nebulous enemies or large groups, you know it's coming. It is the boys. They have no powers, for the most part, no government support, and no backup plans. Just rage, trauma, and a vendetta. The boys aren't just butchers. They are a black ops family of vengeance built to take down soups. Given enough prep time, they might be Homelander's worst nightmare. Let us break the team down. MM, or Mother's Milk, is the tactician. Frenchie is their bomb maker and chemical weapons expert. Kimiko is a soup-level brawler with regeneration. Huey now has temporary powers, including teleportation. And we've covered Butcher already. Alone, they lose. Together, they adapt, ambush, and survive. The entire show actually follows them and their exploits to bring down Homelander and Vought. As unsuccessful as they often are, they take down many tough-as-nails soups way above their league. Often survive the impossible, only to regroup and plan their next attack. They may just, for the most part, be a motley crew of messed up dudes, but they may pose a bigger threat to Homelander than even they realize. Homelander often overlooks them due to his massive ego, which is, in turn, what lets them get away with some pretty heinous stuff and allows them to get at him occasionally. Moving away from the teams and other groups, let's get back to the 1v1s, shall we? Stormfront. Not just another soup, but one of Vought's original prototypes. She is actually the first successful Compound V subject, but not Vought's first hero. That title goes to Soldier Boy. Born in Nazi Germany as Clara Rissinger and living for over 70 years, she mastered her powers and manipulation. Just as ruthless as Homelander, and her strength and durability are also on par. She was also able to manipulate Homelander, filling the void in his god complex, seducing him, and almost turning him to her master race ideology. She stood toe-to-toe with 3 soups at once and barely lost. Her Nazi ideology was truly frightening, and had she not been killed by Ryan, she might have pushed Homelander over the edge much earlier in the show. I doubt she could take him directly one-on-one, but if she were to lure him into a false sense of security, she could have ambushed or assassinated him with her brutal powers or strength alone. It would have to be done quickly. If Homelander got even a moment to collect his thoughts, he'd likely crush her. But she poses a serious threat both physically and ideologically. Moving away to another entry, one who needs no teams or ideology, just brute force and a little strategy. It's the Deep. Yeah, right. It's Jordan Lee from Gen V. At first glance, Jordan Lee might not seem like they belong on a list filled with gods, monsters, and multiversal memes. But make no mistake, Jordan might be one of the most tactically dangerous threats to Homelander in the entire Boys universe. Jordan is a top student at Godalkin University and arguably the most combat ready of their generation. Their mutation allows them to shift between male and female forms at will, each with completely different powers. The male form, super durability to the point of near indestructibility and incredible physical strength. The female form, agile energy projection. That's 2 completely different soups in one body, no cooldown, no delay, just tactical flexibility in real time. In episode 6, we even see Jordan beat down Golden Boy, switching forms mid-fight to perfectly counter each new possible threat. This isn't just cool, it's combat intelligence, and that's something Homelander rarely contends with. He wins by overwhelming opponents who are outmatched physically and psychologically. Jordan doesn't scare easily, and they don't fight fair. Now, raw strength-wise, Homelander still takes it. But remember, he's not unbeatable, just egotistical and overconfident. Jordan doesn't need to match him, they need to outthink him. And with their form-switching power, split-second adaptability, and cold combat logic, they're uniquely built to exploit that opening, especially in a team scenario where Homelander's laser-focused on dominance can become his undoing. Jordan's not the strongest on the list, but they might be the smartest fighter, and when you're going up against a narcissistic laser-eyed tyrant, that's the kind of edge that turns the impossible into the inevitable. Onward now to a bit of a hot take, but hear me out. A dual entry with Cindy/Victoria Newman, seeing as they possess relatively similar abilities, not completely, but the method of beating Homelander would be shared. See, Victoria can control blood vessels in people and make their heads explode when needed, and Cindy is fully telekinetic but can achieve the same effect. We'll cover Victoria first. A Congress woman and super with a secret, she has one of the most lethal powers in the boys universe. First appearing as an anti-Vought activist, she's later revealed to be a soup with the ability to explode body parts remotely, specifically by manipulating blood pressure or directly targeting the brain or organs. She would need to catch him off guard and potentially be hidden out of sight. A direct confrontation would leave her open to Homelander's speed and ferocity, to which she likely wouldn't have the time to kill him due to his super durability. Her ability and method of killing would be similar to Cindy's, but with a key difference. Cindy might be able to go head-to-head with Homelander directly. Cindy is a powerful telekinetic soup introduced in Season 2, locked up by Vought. We see her crush bones, impale heads, and walk through bullets like they are nothing. The show hints at her immense power, but as of yet leaves her story unfinished. Let's talk about raw power. Cindy's telekinesis isn't just strong, it's precise. She can pop heads with a glance, rip people apart without moving a muscle. That's power on the level of, or even beyond Homelander's brute strength. Homelander is super durable, but not invincible. His skin stops bullets, but we've seen internal damage hurt him. Cindy's power bypasses external defenses. If she focused her telekinesis on his brain or heart, game over. If Homelander has a weakness, it's not kryptonite, but it might just be telekinetic brain trauma. Cindy doesn't have such a weakness. Her telekinetic ability might even rival Homelander's strength directly, but would lead to an awesome clash of differentiated powers, or she might just be able to walk up and have him implode like a meat balloon. We might never find out because after she is subdued in Season 2, she has not been seen again, yet. Finally, moving on from all the what ifs and maybes and onto the concrete final answer to who could kill Homelander. It's Black Noir, the silent assassin, shadow behind the curtain. In the show, he's a loyal Vought operative with unmatched hand-to-hand skills, but in the comics, he's Homelander's literal clone, engineered to be his failsafe. In the show, Black Noir is a tragic figure, a meat broken by trauma, hiding behind cartoons and masks. He's fast, lethal, and loyal, but ultimately powerless against Homelander when it counts. His fatal weakness is also peanuts, nearly killed by an almond joy. Yummers. Homelander kills Black Noir in the show with a brutal gut punch, thus seemingly ending his time in the series. It's an execution. Noir doesn't even fight, he just dies. But in the comics, it's an entirely different story. In Garth Ennis's original comics, Black Noir is a clone of Homelander, created by Vought to be their nuclear option in case their golden boy lost control. What makes him terrifying isn't just that he can match Homelander punch for punch, it's that he's completely insane. Created without purpose or identity, his only reason for living was to kill Homelander. While TV Noir was a weapon wasted, comic Noir was a plan executed perfectly. If Vought ever feared Homelander more than they loved him, Black Noir was the blade they kept behind their back. Confronting Homelander in the White House as Homelander realizes the truth, Black Noir attacks him with the full force of their matched powers. It's a brutal fight, and Noir is ultimately the one who actually kills Homelander. Using his superior knowledge of Homelander's vulnerabilities, he orchestrated the perfect opportunity to strike. It's honestly one of the most brutal deaths in the entire Boys series. Noir rips Homelander apart. His only downfall is his deteriorating mental state, driven by a deep, twisted sense of revenge and self-loathing. His desire to kill Homelander was rivaled only by Butcher himself. While the seeming ultimate goal of the show is not the end of the comics, in the end, Homelander's biggest weakness isn't some kryptonite or magic rock or serum. It's his ego. His belief that he is all-powerful, untouchable. If you enjoyed this video and want to find everyone that could kill Omni-Man, click the video on the screen.